Welcome to the ninth class of Eagles meeting. So we've done a lot of things so far. What I want to talk about today is home inspections, how they're set up, the reasons for them, and how to effectively do them to protect the commission you're about to get at settlement. And it's what I call defensive real estate. Okay? Practice defensive real estate. So the first thing to do with a home inspection, starts when you write the agreement of sale, when you write the offer, okay, in the beginning. And what I've always done with it is when I get a buyer, I put the paperwork. First of all, what's the first thing a buyer always wants to talk about when you're ready to write the offer?
What's going to happen?
Yeah, the price, what's going on. The price is the big concern of most of the buyers, okay? What I try to do is leave that till last, and I tell them, I say, look, there's a variety of things we have to talk about when we're putting this offer in. Very important things that could cost you a lot of money. So to do it correctly, you'll save money. So one of them is a home inspection, or how you want to evaluate the property, okay? You've looked at the property already, so that's giving you an idea of what price you're going to offer. The things that you've seen goes into your consideration. If the property's listed for $300,000, and there's some things that you can see, bad concrete work, the heater's old, the roof seems to be leaking in a couple spots, when you put your offer in for $250, say, you've taken that into consideration, the things that you've seen. And I go over that with the buyer. I say the home inspection is your second chance to evaluate the property with really things that you can't see. Okay? Now, the home inspector, when they do their home inspection, they're going to list both. They're going to list things that are obvious, because that's their job to evaluate it, and they're going to list the things that we can't see, a lay person, or what we could not have seen or evaluated. A good home inspector is someone who can break their report, who gets their report done very quickly, number one, and who can break their report up into two categories, in my opinion. One, major items that if you don't fix today, they only get worse. Major items that have to be taken care of and addressed. And two, maintenance items. Okay? And that's crucial to separate the two and to educate the buyer at that point. That's what's going to happen. So at this point, when you're writing the offer, you're saying, look, the home inspector, you're evaluating the price based on what you've seen. So you've done your own visual evaluation. The home inspector is looking for major defects. They're the things that you're going to want to negotiate. Okay? For instance, the home inspector, everything looks fine with the electric, but the home inspector comes up and says you don't have grounding in certain spots, and you're missing some GFIs in certain areas that you haven't seen, or the GFI is not working properly. Things like that. You thought it was working because you could see it, but it wasn't working properly. Those are the type of items, and it's important for you to tell your buyer that, because the home inspection starts right at the agreement time. Okay? If you don't have these conversations, you're forced to have a lot of problems when you're negotiating the home inspection. Okay? Number two, that's when you start. Now, let's say your agreement gets accepted, you go back and forth. One of the things you want to always avoid are a couple things in you're negotiating in the agreement. If the agent comes back to you, the other agent, the listing agent, and says, well, we really don't want you to do a home inspection. You've got to take the property as is. I'm telling you, working at RE/MAX Affiliates, I won't allow you to do that. And I won't allow you to recommend to your buyer to do that. Okay? Now, the buyer can do what they want, but I don't want you doing that. In fact, we have it in writing that says we strongly recommend a home inspection. Okay? Now, you always recommend one. You'll give them a choice of who to choose. We have a couple different people, plus we have a list of all home inspectors who are in, I think, ASHI approved inspectors. So they can choose that list. It's best for you if you start getting someone that you know and like, and you know they do a good job, please don't just recommend them, because it's just setting yourself up for a problem. Okay? You should always try to recommend at least 3 people. So evaluate at least 3, and always give them the option to find somebody in the yellow pages. Okay? Because what happens is if the home inspector does a poor job, they're going to, by association, they're going to say you recommended him, so you're responsible for what he or she did not do. Okay? All right, so we've got to that point, and so never agree to waive a home inspection. When you're doing the home inspection on the agreement, just go to that page on the agreement. I have it in front of you. It's page 5 of 21. Well, it ends on that page. It's really page 4 of 21. It goes over to 5. Yes, the new agreement's going to change in the next probably 2 weeks. Okay, very similar to the old agreement, except the way it's structured. The pages are all different, but very similar content. Okay, and we'll have classes on that. Basically, when you look at the home inspection, there's 2 ways you can go. You can either, the buyer can take the property, evaluates the property, and then says to them, I'm either going to take it or not take it, or negotiate with the seller, okay, on what to do. All right, we're all on those terms on that. I prefer the all or nothing option at our company. If you can get that done, take that. I don't like the, lack of a better word, the deduction option, where you put a number in, $1,000 or $2,000. I don't like that because you can never find 2 contractors to agree what the amounts are. Okay, and I think it forces people to stay into a contract, and if a buyer or seller want to get out of a contract, they'll find a way to get out. So I'd rather have them really want to be there and negotiate it. So I prefer the all or nothing option, and they can negotiate verbally. So pick those options, and what would happen is they do the home inspection within the 15-day period. Okay, then what you would do is strongly encourage the buyer to go to those home inspections so they can fully see the property and be comfortable. You do not have to go to the home inspection if you choose not to. If you're newer to the business and you want to get an exposure and meet a variety of home inspectors to see who does a good job and who doesn't, I would recommend you to go. But there is nothing that makes you liable to go as a buyer's agent. Okay? And if a listing agent expects you to be there the whole time, you do not have to. Feel free to have them call me. Okay? As long as they're associated with a home inspector, you do not need to be there. It's not your job to provide security for the home inspection. Okay? And that's the process, and we just cut it.